Welcome to the Sacred Heart Share-A-Thon on the Carolina Catholic Media Network. Today, we are live on the air from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., asking for your financial support and sharing the great work of various ministries, authors, speakers, clergy, and local radio hosts that impact our local Charlotte community. Carolina Catholic Media Network is 100% listener supported, and we need your financial support to continue broadcasting the truth of Jesus Christ. Call 1-800-857-2909. That's 1-800-857-2909 to make your tax-deductible pledge. Operators are standing by right now to take your call, or you can donate online at carolinacatholicmedia.org. Thank you for your loyal listenership. We hope you enjoy this special Sacred Heart Share-A-Thon program.
And I'm happy to say that although I began this job 1 year ago, I have a long history with the Diocese of Charlotte. I served as an administrator at Our Lady of the Assumption Catholic School in Charlotte, first as an assistant principal and then as a principal. So I am so happy to be able to share the knowledge and skills learned over those years with all 20 schools in the diocese.
Thanks. Good afternoon. So happy to have you all joining us today. My name is Tara Hackman. I'm the Director of Marketing and Enrollment in the Catholic Schools Office, and I support our 20 schools in their marketing, enrollment, and development plans, as well as telling the story across Western North Carolina and beyond of our 20 schools. And I have been working with them, both the Raleigh Diocese and the Charlotte Diocese, for about the last 15 years, and have been in this role in the Catholic Schools Office for just about 3 years. So,
Mr. Culp.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tyler Culp. I came to the Diocese of Charlotte after 10 years of teaching in public ed and found a home at Sacred Heart Catholic School in Salisbury in 2015. I was the math teacher, dean of students, and athletic director there under the tutelage of Father John Eckert and Father Lucas Rossi. After a year and a half, I became the interim principal and in May of 2017 became the principal of Sacred Heart Catholic School. And I served there as principal until last June, actually, June of 2021, where I took over for Miss Ramkinson at Our Lady of the Assumption Catholic School. It has been such an honor to join the diocese in 2015. After 10 years of education, I knew that Catholic education was the place to be. I'm also interning this summer down with the Catholic Schools Office as a doctoral candidate at UNCW, and I'm excited to learn under the CSO about what it takes to run and manage and just to grow in faith and leadership with the 20 schools in our diocese. So I'm excited to be with you all today.
So as you can see this afternoon, we have a wonderful team here with you. It is not our entire Catholic Schools Office. Though we are a small office, we do like to consider ourselves an all-star team that likes to be visible and present within our schools. And today we are just so very blessed to be able to share with you some of those beautiful things that are strengthening that Catholic culture and identity that really helps form our students day in and day out. We would just like to start off just by saying that, even during these past 2 years of uncertainty, our schools have absolutely forged above and beyond. We like to consider ourselves a small light on a hill that helps draw in people for what our ultimate goal is, saving souls, leading people to salvation, because that's the only reason why we exist. We keep saying 20 schools. I think a lot of you listeners may remember that we have 19 schools. What is this 20 schools that you're talking about here? We are so very blessed to celebrate the induction of Canongate as an official Catholic high school that is operating out of St. Barnabas in Arden, North Carolina. They are a classical liberal arts school, and we are just excited to have them in the fold and look forward to continuing to expand that unity amongst our schools and our regions that we service. So, what are some of these things that we've been doing, and what have been our priorities since COVID first hit? Again, despite COVID, we've seen growth and we've seen development and formation transpiring within our school communities. What has been our focus? I will tell you, our first focus has definitely been on our leadership, building unity amongst our school administration in order to ensure everybody felt supported during these times of uncertainty. And I think that could be very easily seen through the themes that we kind of created. Tara, would you mind sharing about some of those themes?
Sure. So I don't think I expected that my first project or kind of foray into my time in the Catholic Schools office was going to be the direction that it took. But as Crystal mentioned, as we return to campus, as that light on the hill, to provide and just reinforce that unity, as we prepared for our students and our faculty and staff to return, we prepared so many, documents and plans. And so as we were working on the marketing and branding, we came together on the phrase safer, stronger together. And so we certainly heard that and saw that throughout that year, starting that August, as we were one of the few school systems that returned to campus. And it was such a beautiful thing. You could walk into any of our schools and see that message and feel that message. And, I really think that did reinforce and bring us together. We were right back that following school year, and actually can remember brainstorming with Alana. She had just joined our team, and we were talking about, the second year, we're moving out of that safer, stronger together, but what do we want that message to be? And we were tossing around words, and you said faithfully forward, and it just hit and resonated, and just felt exactly right for this school year that we just finished up. So again, it was just, beautiful to unify our schools with that message that we're moving faithfully forward. As we move into this upcoming school year, we're so excited. Our Catholic Schools is going through a rebrand, and we're launching our new website and logo and messaging, and so we're excited to have our theme for this year as one church, one family. So we'll be that will be our message that will resonate throughout this year.
What's been so important about these themes in particular, not only just hearing the words over and over, stronger together, faithfully forward, one church, one family. These themes have really been the center of how we have prioritized certain documents and formation with our administration. That, again, is what ultimately is going to leave an impact on our individual school communities. So these themes have gone much deeper than words, and they really have brought across a lot of unity that once felt like many miles in between. I think that I don't want it to seem as though we haven't had challenges. There's always challenges in time of uncertainty, so to speak. And we have met those with fidelity as well. And I think one of our biggest initiatives that have come out of this has been answering to the increased enrollment and actually the teachers that leave that impact on our students day to day. Alana?
Yes, Crystal. A lot of our unity shone through with our immediate environment, and also across really the cities that our schools are located in. So the community wanted to be part of that, and with that brought increased enrollment. And it was also at a time, though, where teachers were rethinking whether they were going to stay home with their own kids or, move into a completely different profession. So we were dealing with some shortages of teachers. So one of the things that moving forward, we have made an intentional push to recruit teachers who are well formed, but also teachers who, reflect the universal church, because we realize that diversity is a strength, and we want to encourage people of all backgrounds and ethnicities to be a part of our school system. So we have actually increased those efforts by visiting colleges on a large scale, like going to the App State job fair, the education job fair, in which myself and principal representative Miss Michelle Kuhn from St. Anne Catholic School went and really spoke to students coming into the field on a large scale and one-on-one. Our own superintendent has been making special visits, very intentional visits, and to universities like Christendom College. And we are really trying to make sure that this is front and foremost in our efforts to strengthen our schools. We've also made our presence on the internet more visible, and we hope that by connecting with students from a vast many colleges, especially our Catholic colleges, that we can keep them informed and updated of all that's available in our schools and all the wonderful programs that are happening in our schools. Right here at home, Belmont Abbey College, we are making some really good strides with building that relationship and building, sort of a pipeline to our diocese so that we can ensure that the next generation of teachers are prepared for our Catholic vision.
Absolutely. So definitely mission-oriented teachers are who we are looking for. So if any of you are out there listening today that are interested in teaching in our schools, please contact us. We are always wanting to further our mission, and we need strong Catholic educators to do that. Mr. Culp has had firsthand experiences both now in a parish school as well in a MAC school. And Tyler, can you give us a little bit of your perspective on the shift in unity and what you're seeing as a leader in the school?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially coming from kind of suburbia to now the city. It's amazing over the last couple of years with the pandemic how close that we've come together. I would say from the Catholic School Office and principals just working together, whether it's hey, did you knock down a wall to make your classroom bigger to ensure the safety of our students? Or how did you deal with the ongoing challenges of different mandates that were happening, especially throughout North Carolina? And just the intentional focus of our Catholic Schools Office that during this time of the pandemic where, we had to focus on COVID, but what we've really tried to do is grow together as leaders. I will say being part and being a leader in this diocese essentially since 2016, I will tell you the text threads, the email back and forth, the phone calls, we have grown together. It is nothing for me to call somebody in the triad. For example, I could call Catherine Roosh at OLG for help about something with our special needs program, or I could call down to Kevin O'Haron with something Max related that I might have a question about from St. Matthew's, or I could drive over to Holy Trinity and work with Kevin Parks and ask him some different middle school ideas. But it's really been nice to see through some struggles with COVID and through the pandemic that us as leaders and our Catholic Schools Office, our teachers are collaborating more. And really, we've even started this year working with different schools and having students from other schools perform. I know I can say that we had a Harambe Mass in February where we had St. Gabe's band students come play at our Mass. So it was nice to even see the students coming together even more. So the intentional push of united and unity together as 20 schools. The leadership, the teachers, it's been really special to see the growth over the last 7 years, especially in my position as a principal.
It is beautiful. Yes, in times of strife, we often see that our faith can provide us some of the best fruits. Just knowing that leaning on our Lord Jesus Christ, we know that at the end of the day, He's going to provide us with the avenues that we need to go down to help complete His will and His work. So, there's definitely been challenges, but again, they've been met with fidelity, and we look forward to continuing to forge on into the future. I know that some of the things that we would like to discuss with you today are some of those initiatives and priorities that, despite this time period, we've still been able to get up and running and really move forward, that's already left a lasting impact on the schools. One of those that we would like to talk to you about today is Education and Virtue. Education and Virtue is a program that has come from the Dominican Sisters of Mary, Mother of the Eucharist in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I have to give a huge shout out to Sister John Dominic, who has been absolutely phenomenal in supporting our schools. She has come twice now to visit. She originally came back in March of 2020, and then came back again in the fall of 2021. And she has been working with our pilot schools, but most importantly, the sisters there who have been tirelessly expanding the program and resources have been praying for our schools. They have intercessors at each of our schools set up that work with the sisters at the Mother House, and they have offered up Mass for our schools, and they continue to pray for furthering our mission and building virtue in our students. And we know that because of that partnership, that is why we have seen success in virtuous habits being formed within our students throughout our schools. So we're so very blessed to have moved this program forward. I'm going to kick it over to Tyler here, because actually in his time at Sacred Heart, before we even really piloted the program in some other schools, Tyler already had an inside track and was already working that at Sacred Heart.
I did. Thanks be to God that Father John Eckert had a relationship with Sister John Dominic, and we brought in the Virtue program early on, and are still continually seeing the fruits of it as now it's spreading across the diocese. The Virtue program, and what we did is there's 34 virtues, and every week we kicked off a virtue, whether it was being prudent, being temperate, or even just talking about the 3 theological virtues of faith, hope, and love. It began to take over our community, where, when you have kindergartners walking around and saying how they need to be affable, it's pretty special to see in that environment. And I'm lucky enough that I am the second round of pilot programs here for the diocese that we're going to bring into OLA. The program itself has grown tremendously over the last couple of years. The resources, the journals, even the planners that the kids now, everything is intentional about our faith. And at Sacred Heart, we talked about virtuous leadership, and our focus here at OLA is just going to be virtuous. And we're really excited to bring that to our school this next school year. The vocabulary and getting students and parents and teachers and principals and leaders. And once this gets going throughout the diocese, we're going to have common vocabulary, common virtues throughout. So it's been really nice to see at Sacred Heart and watch that program grow, especially under the tutelage of Callie Michaels and Aaron Brinkley in Salisbury right now. But I'm excited. I have a religion committee in place with some members of OLA Parish as well going to join us and just get our community involved in making the parish and the school become very intentional with our virtues, talking about our virtues, using them with emails and social media posts, and making sure that parents, students, community members, everyone's on the same page when it comes to our intentionality about our faith.
So thank you, Tyler. I appreciate that. What is so beautiful about this is the schools have wrap their arms around it. And it wasn't hard to do. You know, when you start listening to Sister talk, who's so very dynamic, but also just the passion and knowing how it has changed students' lives and trajectory, you know, leading into time of prayer, right? Virtue is going to increase our prayer life, which is going to lead us closer to God, grow our relationship with the Lord. So there's nothing better than in that virtuous formation that we're looking at. St. Pius X and St. Anne were two of our schools that were chosen as pilot schools. Antoinette Aguilera up at St. Pius X has formed an extremely strong committee up there that has been moving the program forward. They have even tied it to their merit-demerit system. So now instead of talking about behaviors, they're talking about virtue. So refocusing, reorienting our approach to our interactions with each other so that they're in a more virtuous manner, so that way we are furthering develop, you know, what God wants us to do. How does he want us to act as a disciple, as a representative of a Christian individual? And then St. Anne's, under new leadership, Michelle Kuhn and Celine Little, they have just picked that program right on up and moved forward. I'm very blessed to have two children that attend St. Anne's, and I love seeing, you know, things come home, things that are brought home in their folders that talk about, you know, humility, and that talk about what does that mean? What does it really sound like? You know, how do you act that way when you are, when you are interacting with a friend, and just seeing that change in them and using that common lexicon, that common language has been beautiful. You know, there's Lectio Divina that is introduced through the program. Again, growing that prayer life, beautiful sacred art that our students have been exposed to, and even more importantly, the formation of our staff. That formation of our staff is what provides that solid foundation for that virtue to grow within our students. Our cups have to be full in order to fill others, right? So knowing that opportunity for staff formation is part of Sister John Dominic's and the other sisters' role in rolling out that allows for it to be fruitful. We also know that, you know, schools are only the secondary educators of these children. And, you know, another big piece of this is bringing that virtue language into the homes of all of those families that we work with and serve. And there are some really wonderful resources and ideas that our schools have already been employing, including, you know, opportunities for families to come together at the table, talk about, you know, the different virtues, and also how does it relate to the development of the child. Again, because our goal is holistic formation. And, you know, there's that science side and there is that spiritual side, and we know that they are so clearly linked together, and Sister John Dominic has done a beautiful job with that in her program. So we're just very excited. Please walk through the halls of Our Lady of Grace, St. Michael's, Sacred Heart. You're going to see virtue trees. You're going to see the kerygma trees. You're going to see all these beautiful signs of our faith, that good, true, and beautiful aspects of our faith just plastered on the walls. And that's what we need for our students to really grow and understand what is virtue, how does it relate to our faith, and how does it lead us to a closer relationship with God. So we're super excited about that, and I think some of that could be heard from the feedback you've had, Tara, right? In working with some of the admissions directors.
Yes. So, you know, Crystal, we talk about how we enroll families in our schools. And so this Education and Virtue program is so rich and so deep. And the feedback I have gotten from those that work in our schools, that lead our tours, and work to enroll our families is, you know, this is so much more than just saying like, we have a virtues program here. It is a true witness. It is, you know, all of the examples you and Tyler gave, but what they are really loving is these examples, these stories that they're able to relay to families, and that families are able to see on their tours. That kindergartner, those two kindergartners that are talking and using that vocabulary, and then that introduction of all that will be, brought to the family to make that connection. And so it's just been a wonderful addition to our schools in so many ways.
We have a lot more of exciting initiatives and projects to share with you all, but we're going to take a quick break here and look forward to coming back on in just a few minutes. Thank you for your time.
You are listening to the Carolina Catholic Media Network Sacred Heart Share-A-Thon. Operators are standing by right now to take your tax-deductible pledge. Call 1-800-857-2909. That's 1-800-857-2909. Or donate online at carolinacatholicmedia.org.
It has been a priority of the Catholic Schools Office to expand upon availability of education for all of God's children. We know that we are all uniquely and wonderfully made, and we could not be more excited about the programs that we offer within our schools. And heading that up in careful and wonderful hands is Alana Ramkasoon.
Well, Crystal, I'm just so happy to have the opportunity to get the word out, because one of the things that we are really focused on, we were focused last year and we're going to continue this year, is really strengthening and rebranding our special programs. We've had programs in our schools for years. We have had the Matthew Morgan program at St. Patrick Catholic School in Charlotte. We've had the Modified Academic program at St. Anne's, and that serves students who really need one-on-one as they learn their skills and they learn to read. And they are also pushed into the classes in an inclusion model. So that makes it very special and makes it different from all the other programs that students with special needs could partake of in Charlotte. And we've also had more recent programs, which include the PACE program at Our Lady of the Assumption School, and then Options at Charlotte Catholic that started off as a combination of the MAP and Matthew Morgan programs. So the rebranding has brought everything under the Options umbrella. And what's very important to note is that we have identified a path from elementary really all the way to college bound, because we want our families to know that, yes, it is possible for your student with special needs to go to school alongside your students who don't have a particular need. So we just, are very happy to strengthen that and to make sure that we're doing everything possible to make those pathways available.
Alana, could you share a little bit about each of the programs and the type of students that they help support?
So the Matthew Morgan program is a program that was designed, and it was named after two students, Matthew and Morgan, and it was designed to serve students with Down syndrome. The students in the MAP program, which was started at St. Anne's, really for students who may be on the autism spectrum. Students with severe dyslexia can be served through the PACE program at Our Lady of the Assumption School. And when you move up to the middle school, you have those same students that can continue in an inclusion model there. The PACE program is housed at Our Lady of the Assumption School because you can go all the way from the second grade in the PACE program to 8th grade. And those students are really being taught and really being supported so that they can be inserted back into the general ed. So they're on a slightly different track. So the other students in our other programs, and they continue Options at Holy Trinity Catholic School and then Options at Charlotte Catholic, they are really in that program to go all the way to a college program that is available for students with special needs. So we are very proud to say that we are really making the opportunities available. We also have support from the state, because the state provides scholarships that allow students to not necessarily have to be in the public school, but can use resources to come to our schools. And that's something I think is very important. It's part of the mission, and it's very near and dear to our hearts. I want to also add that although some of these programs are centered in Charlotte, we've got a wonderful school, Our Lady of Grace, that has a program that really is combining the two. It's called PACE and it's called Quest at that school. And so really and truly some wonderful things happening out in Greensboro. And they are really the only school in the area offering, the only private school or Catholic school offering that service. So they just, they're at capacity every year. And we want the opportunity to grow in Charlotte the way they've grown in Greensboro.
Absolutely. I mean, what we have seen in these schools is the way that these students have impacted and taught so many of our other students how to be virtuous and kind to each other, how to really do your best each and every day, even though challenges may be presented in every action that you take. And these students enrich and make us stronger, and they have absolutely had a phenomenal impact on our schools. So, we're excited for it to be growing. We're excited for it to be expanding. Just have to give a big shout out to Charlotte Catholic High School, who has completely embraced moving forward this options program and has now constructed a new learning environment for these students. These students next year are included in a main hallway, so they'll be interacting with other students on a regular basis, as well as the opportunity to work within 2 different rooms: a structured classroom that gives them the opportunity to move forward with everyday lessons that they have to have, but then also a life skills room. It is fully outfitted with cabinets, a refrigerator, a washing machine. They've got a stove, an oven, set up like an apartment. So these students are going to be learning the skills that they need to be independent and productive citizens in our society. But most importantly, all in a Catholic setting that allows them to further their relationship with the Lord. And there's just nothing more beautiful than that. So we're just so very blessed to have that opportunity. I know, Mr. Culp, you help service one of our special programs. Can you share with us a little bit about that impact over there?
Yeah, our PACE program, which stands for Providing an Appropriate Academic Catholic Education, is really special for me. I'm a parent to a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old, which I don't know what the academic future for them instills and holds. So it's exciting to work in an environment where our diocese has so many different opportunities for our kids to grow up in our system. Specifically at Our Lady of the Assumption in East Charlotte, the PACE program works with dyslexia and dysgraphia students who have been had trouble reading, maybe have trouble writing, and we provide a individualized plan for these students to try to get back into the regular ed classroom. We were so excited that we had 3 boys in that program full time for a couple years, 2 of which are going on to Holy Trinity, and 1 is going to St. Pat's, where they're moving into a school closer to their home, and they're going back into the regular ed classroom. So some really individualized instruction over the past couple years, really honing in on each and every single one of them strengths and areas of growth. And they've been able to get back into the regular classroom. Now, next year, we have 3 students currently in the middle school program. And our goal is by the time that they're in 8th grade to really get ready for a regular ed high school experience. And it's nice that our school does that. We have the opportunity to really take the small class size, really understand who our kids are, what their needs are, the strategies in order to help them improve, and to get them ready for a regular classroom experience by the time that they're in to high school to get that track to college. So our program's a little different, but it's really nice, as we mentioned earlier, about the unity of our schools. I continually work with Catherine at OLG. I continually work with St. Pat's, Holy Trinity, St. Anne's, and Kurt down at Charlotte Catholic, and it's nice that all of us work together. Tomorrow, actually, Alana is leading our first options summer training, where we are going to really align our curriculums, make sure that we're sharing strategies, being collaborative, and just making sure and putting intentional focus to make sure that these options programs are the best that they can be, and looked even to improve moving forward. So it's really exciting to have over at OLA. We're excited for the summer to get planning for another even better school year next year. So I'm excited to be a part of that tomorrow.
It's beautiful. We can always grow. Alana, can you share a little bit more about the planning that is happening with that special needs committee that you've been overseeing?
So when we decided to revisit and to look at what was actually being done in all the programs, we saw that there was a need to sort of align the programs, simply because we really wanted to create a path that someone could follow from kindergarten, or if they came in at second grade, all the way to college. So in order to prepare for every level, we realized that we had to make sure that things were aligned. So last year, when the program was revised at Charlotte Catholic and became the options program, we had a group of educators sitting down really and looking at what we wanted that end product to look like. And then they started that backward design where they would create the lessons and create the objectives for the grade levels below. So that really was started then. It was very successful. It worked very well at Charlotte Catholic. So we're continuing this summer to now take that down to the middle school. And so the options program moving to the middle school and really kind of unifying the objectives for the two programs that exist at Holy Trinity right now, and making sure that our students are ready for high school. And we're also going to look at the elementary school and how much the elementary expertise of those teachers and what we learn from those kids could be fed up the line. So we're really, really happy to strengthen our curriculum in that way.
And listeners, when you guys are out there and hearing us talk about these different programs, feel free to reach out to any of these schools. I know Kathy Spado at OLA and myself, we'll sit down, because we're united, we're together, and we want to make sure that if you have a student out there that you feel could benefit from some individualized instruction and some different strategies to make sure that they grow not only spiritually but academically, socially, emotionally, reach out. I know for us for OLA, Kathy Spado and myself would be happy to sit down. I know Tara, sitting right here beside me, would be happy to direct you in whichever way and get you to the program needed. But we want to make sure that you all know that you can call us and that we're open to sit down and talk and discuss. And we want to make sure that we'll get the right program for you.
Absolutely. And all of our schools are so very fortunate to have these programs and happy to speak to our families at any time. So, one of the other things that I really love about these programs, Alana, that maybe you could even share more on, is the part of the opportunity to look at pathways for them beyond high school, right? So the exploration of looking at, the trades, looking at, if they love art and they have a really, strong connection to that, can they do an internship with families that are in our diocese that we know? Or, can they have the opportunity to explore some pathways for the future for them, as well as that Best Buddies program? So could you maybe expand upon a little bit of that's being offered?
So one of the things, we want to make sure that socially the students feel confident when they are, finished with a program, especially at the high school level. So we have a Best Buddies program, and this really is a good program for both our regular ed kids and our, our special special kids in our special programs. And so really it encourages our students to, build friendships and build relationships where they can learn from each other, where they can support each other. And, the Best Buddies program really has taken off. It's a program that we learned about a few years ago and really figured that our students could really come to their full potential. It's a chance to live our Catholic values, to teach each other the beauty of friendship, and also to just assist each other in, the fight to ensure that every child is educated. So I just feel like for both faculty and for students to pair students up with a buddy and to make sure that they are really well supported is an important part of the education process. Looking at ways in which students now can really again come to their full potential, we have some universities offer 2-year programs for students, and these programs allow the students to figure out, what type of field that they'd like to work in. But there are other opportunities, like you said, internships with other families, with businesses. And so that's also built into our program, where we get the students out in the community, out into the workforce, and they have the opportunity to sort of figure out where they fit in and how they fit in, and their value and their worth. And so we have a few businesses in Charlotte that do employ students with special needs, and they get the chance to be baristas. You can also get a chance to, work in a school office for us. And so all of these are things that we are building upon, and that we are hoping that our students can fully participate in. That's why we're hoping that the word gets out on our options programs,
It's beautiful. I mean, just able to serve all students is our goal, right? Knowing that our goal is to spread the good news of the gospel and support everybody in their own educational journey. So one of the next things that we would like to share with you is our ministry plan initiative that we've been moving forward in the diocese this year. This is something that I've had the privilege to work with Katie Matlack on. Part of our job in goal as a Catholic schools office is to partner with the Education Vicariate, not just the Catholic schools, but also the offices of faith formation. And we have the wonderful opportunity to work with Katie Matlack. She splits both offices. She works with the parishes, specifically on the Totus Tuus program, which are underway right now. We're super excited about that. So they've been doing some phenomenal work there, and know that that's a wonderful opportunity for many of our parishes. Not only does she work and help support the parishes and Chris Beal and those initiatives, but also she's working with our schools and our administrative leaders. So there is a new tool that we have employed this year that is called a ministry plan. Basic explanation overview of it is a tool that is used for planning, that is collaboration with the school's faith leadership team, our good pastors and chaplains, our administration, parent, teacher representatives, and the Catholic schools office. And what we've been able to do is we've been able to come together, utilize this tool to help us really further evaluate, some of those strong Catholic practices and traditions that we've been employing to help with, living out the liturgical calendar. But most importantly, figuring out areas of growth and ways that we can continue to reflect upon, how are we living out our faith? Putting your pulse on Catholic culture and identity can sometimes be difficult, and this tool allows us that opportunity to do that. One neat part, one exciting part about this tool is the way that it categorizes our works of faith. day in and day out, we see so many works of faith being done throughout our schools. Living stations, the opportunity to interact with the seven sorrows of Mary as they're looking at, the plaques on the walls and the explanations and writing essays, building grottos out of materials, setting up a St. Joseph's table, in March, all these beautiful things that are happening within our schools. But how do they tie directly with areas of focus? And that's what our tool does. Our tool allows us to look at the evangelization and catechesis that's taking place. Pastoral care, knowing that the chaplain and the priest's direct involvement in our school is what impacts the knowledge and understanding of our students, both spiritually but as well as vocationally. Prayer and worship, how are we doing that as a community? Our community life, building upon the Christian community that strives to actively live out the teachings of the gospel, bonded in faith, hope, and love. And virtuous leadership, which is directly seen in our education and virtue program, but also in so many other areas. These best buddies through our options programs, virtuous leadership through capstone projects, and ways that the students are participating in the Mass, living out the sacraments and actively participating as a student, that builds virtuous leadership. So our works of faith are tied to areas of focus, and that allows us to really pinpoint areas of strength that we're doing really well and areas of, continued growth that we can work with our good priest and our chaplains to help come up with some strong ways, to make sure that we're living out those daily devotions, those weekly devotions, those monthly devotions. And we're just so very excited about that. We've seen a lot of fruits. Not only is it allowing the Catholic Schools Office to interact with those faith leadership teams that are doing the hard work each and every day at our schools, but we can see very clearly, up at Immaculata, they're working really hard to build that relationship and community life with the parish and the school. And Father Cook can be seen on many videos showing the life of the community coming together through liturgical living. You'll see at St. Pius their Marian shrines. You'll see up at St. Leo living saints. They dress up and they get to share out to the community. It's a really beautiful thing. Our Lady of Mercy, working hard with again those seven sorrows, but also praying for families by alphabetical order. I mean, what a great way to show that community life prayer. And they do that on a daily basis, even with special intentions. That's what you get when you're in our schools. You have this opportunity to engage and walk, living out the gospel and the traditions of our faith, and you get to do it in meaningful ways that are directly tied to, those weekly, daily, monthly devotions. St. Michael's out in Gastonia, First Fridays. They instituted First Fridays this year, and how excited we are to see them doing, benediction and the Holy Hour and Mass. It's just amazing, all this good work that is going on. So we're going to continue to prioritize those ministry plans. We're going to continue to find ways, to draw people to, Fridays and His Sacred Heart and Christ's Passion and Precious Blood. We're going to continue to look at ways that we can increase our understanding for November, ways that we can pray for vocations throughout our diocese. And also souls in purgatory. Some of our schools, trying to get out to Belmont Abbey, visit the cemetery out there, pray for those souls, and just excited about the opportunity of the impact this is going to have on our Catholic culture and identity in each of our schools. I think if you walked any of our schools, you would see this beautiful charism that's there, uniquely founded on what the school is founded on, right? Our Lady of Mercy, you're going to see so many beautiful images of the Blessed Mother. And if you go to Our Lady of Assumption and, the traditions found in there, Alana, I think Share with us a little bit more, and Tyler, I want you to jump in too. Maybe some of the things that you were doing, and Tyler, some of the things that you are planning to do to further enrich that tradition and those works of faith that really impact that formation of our students.
Well, in the past, we really tried our best to do things that not only taught about the faith, but pointed to the diversity and all God's children. And so because Our Lady of the Assumption School is such a diverse school and community, really, Tyler talked about the Harambe Mass earlier, and that certainly was one of the things that we did, and we've been doing for over a decade, so that keeping that tradition alive, and that's just really something that we did to highlight the African American influence in our singing, in our prayer, in some of the things that we do as Catholics. So that was one thing that we did there. We also did, a parade of the saints during the All Saints, and for All Saints, although we were not in school, but we kind of did it prior to that, and so that was one of the things that we did, and we try to incorporate saints from all over the world as well. So it's just, again, being aware of the community you serve and really trying to link those acts with a sensitivity to what the community needs.
I think one thing that we really do is we're very intentional about learning about saints, and during the Hispanic Celebration Month from September 15th to October 15th, we really focused on saints who had a Hispanic background. We did the same thing in May with Asian Pacific Islander Month, and celebrated saints from around the world. Something this year that we've instituted is we pray in six different languages throughout the week, and next year we would like to double that and try to get to 12 to try to learn prayers for our kids and for their specific languages. And it's nice to call kids to the office at the end of the day or maybe at noon to do the Angelus and have the prayers read in their own language, which is really a powerful thing that we do. Living Rosary we do, and we pray in different languages there as well. So like Alana spoke about, our diversity over at OLA is incredible, but we really try to celebrate that, but being intentional with learning about the saints, because that's what we're in Catholic schools for. We're there to lead these kids on a path to sainthood, and it's just really special, the ministry plan, and lets us focus, grow in areas that we need to grow, build relationships within the community, but it also allows us to highlight and to show the beautiful Catholic things that we do on a daily basis in our Catholic schools.
There's one quote from Scripture that Katie and myself have reflected upon many times when looking at this ministry plan. Christ actually calling us to intentional discipleship is from John 12:26. Whoever serves me must follow me, and where I am, there also will my servant be. The Father will honor whoever serves me. At the end of the day, that's the purpose of our ministry plans. Are we creating those intentional disciples so that way they ultimately will listen to God's call and serve Him in the way that they themselves are being asked? And every one of our schools, unique in tradition, unique in charism, but ultimately all on the same goal, united, moving forward for our students and the families that we serve. We're going to take another quick break here, and we look forward to coming back together with you in a few minutes. Thank you for your time.
You are listening to the Carolina Catholic Media Network Sacred Heart Share-A-Thon. Operators are standing by right now to take your tax-deductible pledge. Call 1-800-857-2909. That's 1-800-857-2909. Or donate online at carolinacatholicmedia.org.
We are back. Thank you, listeners. If you have not been with us for the past 45 minutes or so. Welcome. We are the Diocese of Charlotte Catholic Schools office here, just sharing some of our good news. We're so very blessed to be a part of this summer Carolina Catholic Media Network Share-A-Thon. Please remember that the Share-A-Thon pledge drive is going on currently. The phone number to call in and donate is 1-800-857-2909. Donations can also be made online at carolinacatholicmedia.org. And don't forget, all donations are tax deductible. You know, there are some really great gifts that they're offering and just truly good work that Carolina Catholic Media Network is doing. We're just so very grateful to even have the opportunity to come share out some of the good news, but all the support that they provide for our Catholic diocese is just phenomenal. So blessed to be a part of it today. We wanted to pick back up with you and share with you some of the great work that we're doing to continue to embrace and enhance all of the students that we serve from diverse communities. And heading that up is Alana Ramkasoon for the Latino and Ethnic Affairs.
Yeah, so I was really excited about this when I hopped on board 1 year ago because the superintendent asked that we respond to the Open Wide Our Hearts document published by the USCCB. And this really was to increase awareness and inclusivity in our schools and across the Catholic diocese. So we were happy to, brainstorm and really think about the ways in which we could answer the call that this document was putting out. And so we created the initiatives of the Latino and Ethnic Affairs Committee, as well as a stakeholder committee of parents, past students, present students, and teachers and other community members at Charlotte Catholic, to really think of ideas in which we could answer that call. And so therefore, we were happy to develop leadership programs for our students in schools that really highlighted the different ethnicities. We tied that to the work we were doing with the ministry plan. We tied it also to the work that we were doing with our special programs. We really tried to look at all the ways in which we can make people aware and have people embrace multiculturalism across our schools. So to that effect, we hired also 2 coordinators, and they are called coordinators of the Latino and Ethnic Affairs, and they go out to the schools and provide support, provide training for parents, for teachers, and they also help with the recruitment of families from different ethnic backgrounds. But very important to all of that is providing support within our schools, because we don't only want to attract diverse families, but we want to be able to retain them and to make sure that they feel that they are part of our Catholic community. To do this also, we have really embraced more fully the Catholic social teaching and try to infuse that into everything that we do, not just at the high school level, but throughout the year at all our schools. So a lot of good things going on, and I really want to highlight one particular program currently called the Madrinas program, but it might be expanded in the future to be called the Padrinos, which is godparents. And this is a program where we empower volunteers in the schools to really take charge of some of the festivities and celebrations that we want to promote, and that we want to make sure we empower also our students to take over. So I can have Tara kind of talk about how the Madrinas program right now is making an impact, in terms of recruitment and marketing.
Sure, thank you. So our two coordinators that have been brought on, as Alana mentioned, are continuing the good work of our former colleague Angelica Hurtado, who implemented several Madrinas programs in our schools. So we've had programs throughout the diocese for the past several years with the goal to have this implemented within all of our schools eventually. And so, in addition to the work that Alana mentioned, much of their focus is really on embracing new families and, immersing them into the community. Many times, for these families, English may not be their first language. And so they're able to ensure that communication is understood, and things as simple as like student uniforms and just, first day of school and all of those things. But in addition to that, again, is really immersing the family in the community. While the Madrinas is a specific group, they themselves are also a large part of that community. So the idea is really to, integrate and involve all of our families. And so it's just been really beautiful to watch as these currently mothers, as we said, we may expand. We have some wonderful fathers who would like to join in, but to just really see those relationships. They're so eager to be involved at open house events, to visit parishes, and to just really spread the good news of our schools and talk about, talk to other families about joining our community. So it's just a wonderful organization.
Yeah, I know at Our Lady of the Assumption Catholic School, our lead Madrina, Miss Cuesta, actually is a rising third grader right now. She's a member of our PTO. And is very involved as a substitute teacher in our community. So it was nice to get to know Miss Cuesta over the summer. And as that relationship grew with our school, she was there more and more and volunteering and being a part. And eventually she just wanted to be all in and come be on board as an employee. So she works at our school now, and it's just a wonderful growing relationship that the schools have with the Madrinas program. I know at Sacred Heart, we had the same thing with Miss Mimi Medrano at Sacred Heart, where they were just so involved, and now Mimi works for the church. So it's just, it's really beautiful to see that these relationships from our Madrinas program really evolve to where it's all encompassing, a part of the parish, as a part of the school, and they actually become employees, and our kids are in our schools. So it's really a special bond that we have with this Latino and ethnic affairs community. And also, a side note, Crystal, very easy to make a donation. I actually just made a donation to the Carolina Catholic Radio, and the website was carolinacatholicmedia.org, and it was very simple to make a donation. So for all you listeners out there, please consider logging on and going and making a donation. It took me no time, and it was a very simple process. So I wanted to note that as well.
Yeah, I just want to echo, Tyler's praises for the work that the Madrinas families do, because it's just so essential in building these partnerships. And I also want to give kudos to Norma Linda Hammond and to Lucy Bustos, who serve as coordinators in Latino and ethnic affairs. They have really been working tirelessly and supporting principals, so that principals know where to go and what to do and where the resources are. And really, it has been such a positive, has made such a positive impact on our schools and our leadership. So very happy that this is coming together and that we can continue to grow, and we get all the different groups with similar programs.
Beautiful. The only reason why we are here day to day, by the grace of God and part of the church's mission, is because we get to serve these wonderful families and those families that extend their arms to other families as well. So great work being done there. We're getting ready to come close to our closing time here. I know first the leadership at all of our schools would love to extend their gratitude to their communities. So from our mountain region, Asheville Catholic School, Immaculata Catholic School, Cannon Gate, we want to say thank you to all of our families. In the Charlotte area, Our Lady of Assumption, St. Michael, St. Anne, St. Gabriel, St. Patrick, St. Matthew, St. Mark, Holy Trinity, Christ the King, Charlotte Catholic, and Sacred Heart. Thank you to all of our families and communities that we serve. And in the Triad, Our Lady of Mercy, St. Leo, St. Pius X, Our Lady of Grace, Immaculate Heart of Mary, and Bishop McGinnis Catholic High School. Thank you to all of our families that we get to serve, and especially to all of our leaders who are really there working with the teachers who are fulfilling the mission each and every day. Our mission, without a doubt, is to guide souls to heaven through intentional formation that is based in virtue and embraces the true, good, and beautiful aspects of our Catholic faith. So amen to us being able to have that opportunity. We have a privilege to have been a light on the hill during this time of uncertainty. Relying on our faith and walking together has brought us to a place of unity across of our 20 schools throughout the diocese. More than ever, we are stronger together, faithfully moving forward, and now one church, one family that are going to continue to make great strides in Catholic education. So be on the lookout for us. We'll continue to be there to serve you. We just want to thank Carolina Catholic Media. Thank you for listening to our segment today. Do not forget to donate to their Share-A-Thon. It's because of your generous support that they are able to continue their good work. So please call in 1-800-857-2909. That's 1-800-857-2909. Keep us on the air. Let us come back. We want to share some more of these good news, great work that we're doing. And again, it's been a privilege. So thank you. This is the Diocese of Charlotte Catholic Schools office. Have a blessed afternoon.
You are listening to the Carolina Catholic Media Network Sacred Heart Share-A-Thon. Operators are standing by right now to take your tax-deductible pledge. Call 1-800-857-2909. That's 1-800-857-2909. Or donate online at carolinacatholicmedia.org. We now rejoin network programming already in progress.